This is Corolla Digital.
Hello, my little crocodiles. It's me, Allison. This is the part 2 that you have been waiting for. It is the part 2 of the Paul F. Tompkins episode. Here it is. I love you. Here we go.
Alison Rosen is your new best friend. Alison, with her the good times never end. Alison Rosen, doing the wavy pencil dance again. Alison's your new best friend.
Okay, well, you know what, though? Here's something I would like to complain about for just a minute. Not that this is about complaints.
Okay.
But-
Or about me?
I think it's been somewhat about you.
No, I mean, this isn't going to be about me.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
No, I would save that for another episode.
Yeah, I wish this
I
whole
thought you were
conversation...
suggesting. I thought I was saying not that this show is about complaints, and you were saying or me. And I'm like, okay, we can talk more about you. We will. No, what I was going to say is, what's up with?
You hold on a second. You are going to a full-blown what's up with.
I know.
Wow, here it
felt
comes.
it.
All right.
What's up with everyone in this town needing to have a meeting with you in person when there's not going to be anything that comes out of the meeting?
Yeah.
And basically, I think it is, and I'm sorry to everyone that this might implicate. I feel like it's really just, will you drive across town to meet with me? How important is this opportunity that's dangling here
Yes.
on a bubble? I can't stop using it.
Well, look, it's fun to say the word bubble.
Oh, it really is.
Yeah.
It really is.
Absolutely.
It's always like there's some potential opportunity somewhere. It's nothing concrete or specific.
Yeah.
But, why don't we grab lunch sometime? Or why don't you, it's not usually not even lunch. It's usually, why don't you come to my office? And it's hugely inconvenient and nothing happens because of it. And this is not even a general meeting. This is like just something that's even more informal than that.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of it.
That's, if you don't live in Los Angeles, what you must know about it is it's a town where you have to drive everywhere.
Yes.
And if you're driving to something that you don't want to do, it seems like the worst burden in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're meeting your friend for lunch in
then it's
Culver
fun.
City
Yeah,
or something,
then it's
and it's a
fine.
long drive, but it's fine. But yeah, it is that what I think it is that we've become so used to the efficiency of a lot of the nonverbal communication that is offered to us.
Yes.
That it does seem like, what? Why do I have to go there? So you're going to tell me one thing or tell me another thing?
Right.
Like that is an email, sir.
Yes.
That is very easily taken care of.
Indeed. I think it might be time for Topic Sombrero, the return of.
You don't say. Now this is replacing Topic Double Boiler.
Well, for the long-time listeners / viewers, going back into when I had this show on Ustream out of my living room, I did pull things out of a double boiler, but it was a different kind of thing. At that
Right.
point, it was called fan phone call, and people would send in their numbers, and I would call one during the fan phone call segment, and that would be pulled out of a double boiler.
Sure.
One time, though, on a Cinco de Mayo themed show,
See?
we put them in a sombrero. So it was like foreshadowing. But this isn't numbers. Anyway, just keep your pants on because it's going to get very exciting. What?
Cinco is a number. So I feel like it all ties together.
See.
Claro que sí.
It's the topic sombrero. We asked for topics and you sent them in. It's the topic sombrero. Now pick a topic and let's begin. It's the topic sombrero.
All right.
Still holds up.
It sure does. We have received an email. I'm a 26-year-old engineer who, like many engineers, spent a lot of time in my formative years learning about math and books and stuff, and maybe not that much about being a human being and coping with feelings.
Wow.
I really appreciate the wisdom and perspective you're able to share with relationships, navigating the real world, etc. So, I dated this girl for 2.5 years in college. She was the first and only person I ever dated. I've always been really gun-shy with approaching women to ask them out. I was only kind of interested in her, but she was pretty interested in me and asked me out. It was the first sexual relationship for either of us. Anyway, eventually I realized I just didn't get along with her that well. I broke up with her maybe a year after I knew I should break up with her. I didn't want to hurt her feelings, which caused me to put off doing it. In retrospect, I regret not doing it sooner because that really wasn't very fair to her to string her along like that. Post-breakup, we continued sleeping with one another, which also wasn't healthy. That went on for 4 years, i.e. we were ex-sexing for almost twice as long as we dated, until this August. Even after we moved away from college, we'd hook up every time we were in the same city. It felt good to know that someone still wanted me and I could please them, and it was comfortable, seeing as how we had experience with one another and neither of us had slept with anyone else. Long story short, she flew into town on a layover last night and I was excited for what usually happened. But then she told me that she's been seeing a guy for about a month, so the sex thing was over. I felt like she had broken up with me. I am having a hard time processing this. I know that I broke up with her and that this was going to happen sooner or later and that I have no claim on her, but I still feel kind of jealous and heartbroken and empty and alone. I think one of the main things is that after 4+ years being single, I haven't dated or even kissed anyone else. And now the only person who's ever expressed romantic interest in me and the only girl I've slept with has finally moved on. I'm scared that I won't ever find another special someone. I'm 26 and I'm feeling behind, like I should have already dated several women, so I know what I'm looking for in Mrs. Right. And then he emailed a PS. Oh, I almost forgot. I work at a company that's pretty much all men, engineering, sigh. I don't know where to meet women to date. I am concerned that I shot myself in the foot by leaving college without a significant other. Almost all of my friends who are dating/married met their partners in college. Wow, that is very sad. The situation is not very sad, but you saying that you feel jealous and heartbroken and empty and alone is sad. Mm-hmm. And yet I totally relate to all those feelings. I have a lot of things to say, and I want to hear what Paul has to say, but I do want to just point out that look at all those old people who maybe lose a spouse and then they think they'll never love again, or they say they never will, and then they find someone and then they find happiness. It's at any age, and no matter what's going on in your life, you can find love. And I think that it's almost like at a certain point I'm not saying this about the writer of the email, but it's almost like you have to decide, I want to stay single, and then you can and you can stay single that way. But I think the opportunity to find someone does come into your life repeatedly.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It really is a matter of perspective. I had a terrible dating history. Quite simply, it was always the wrong person, you know, and I was always getting into relationships for the wrong reasons. And you know, years after a relationship would end, I would think, oh my, why? I can't believe I was with that person, because I was with head over heels for some new person that I really should not have been with. And it was just always the wrong person. And what changed for me was, kind of trying to figure out, okay, well, why am I doing that? You know, what is it with me? And just sorting stuff out on my own. I started going to therapy, and that helped me figure out a lot of stuff. I was really afraid to go to therapy because I hadn't done it before, and it was great. It's not about figuring out it's not about all about blaming your parents, or it's not about having a weird recovered memory. It's just here's the patterns that I have fallen into, and here's where they come from. And now that I'm aware of it, that means I don't have to do it anymore.
Right. You can point out stuff that you on your own just might not be seeing.
Yeah. But honestly, the way I met my wife was I met her through mutual friends, and I was open to having a relationship with her because I was okay with myself finally, and I liked myself enough, and I was also okay with being on my own. I think that's the biggest thing, is you have to spend some time by yourself and be okay with that. That will enable you to see the world in a different way. Because because I was one of those dudes that was always like, if she would only love me, then everything would be perfect, and I would just pine away for this person until this other wrong choice came along, and then I forgot all about that other person. I was just living that way for way too long, and it really, I had to get to a point where I was like, okay, what's it like to just be by myself and live life and, and just do things that that are interesting to me and have nothing to do with another person. And what do I like to do? And where, who am I? And do I like that person? And is there stuff I want to change? Or, that's the beginning of being able to be with another person in a healthy way.
Mm-hmm. Like Julia Roberts in Runaway Bride. Like, she didn't know how she liked her eggs. I did kind
of rip off that whole story.
Yeah. I hated that movie.
I have not seen that movie.
Don't see it.
I will not see that movie.
Don't see it. Christopher Maloney's in it, and I like him. The rest of it, piece of shit.
What does he play? What does Christopher Maloney play in it?
I don't remember.
I'm trying to picture what would he be in a Julia Roberts romantic comedy.
I think he's one of the guys that she dates or dated.
Okay.
Or he's a coach. I think he says "be the ball," and I thought that was funny. I don't know. My hatred of the movie is preventing my even remembering exactly what Christopher Maloney did or was in that movie. My story is very similar to yours, Paul, in that I was always dating the wrong person and.
It's very easy to do.
Used relationships like a drug.
Yeah.
In that, I'm sad, I just got to find a new one,
Yeah.
and there was always someone I was thinking about if I wasn't actually dating them, and then I was single. I just gave up. I'm just like, nothing I'm doing is working, so goodbye, world of men. And I was single for about 4 years. Mm-hmm. And then I didn't even want to get into another relationship. But then I met the guy that I'm with now, and we were friends first. And then, but it was different than anything I'd ever been in before.
Yeah.
When you met your wife, did it feel different?
Our story is we met first. We went out on a date, soon after. It was not a good time for her because she was sort of seeing this other guy, and then it got a little more serious with that guy. So she kind of broke it off with me before it got started. Then we re-entered each other's lives a year later, and at that point it wasn't a good time for me because I was on this thing where I was like, I'm gonna play the field because I never have. So I'm gonna try dating. Well, you can't really do that in your 30s. You can't date multiple people because people take it personally.
Yeah.
Because I was dating women that were about the same age, and they're like, no, I don't. I'm not into that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are we heading towards a relationship or no? I was like, man, I'm just not into that right now. So so that wasn't a good time for me. Then the following year, we ended up spending a bunch of time together, just hanging out and got to know each other as people. And that was it. That's when I realized.
What was the pretense that it was friendship? Like you guys were, not that's a pretense, but you just started spending time together.
We
as
just
friends?
ended up spending time together and hanging out. We were doing it more and more because we liked each other's company. And then the more time I spent with her and got to know her, like who she was as a person, because now I was looking at her in a different way than I was, the year before that. I was looking at her as a human being and I really like this person a lot, and that was it. Then I just fell in love with her, and then we started dating after that.
Mm-hmm. And before, when you were dating the wrong kind of women, what kind of women were they, and in what way was it wrong? It
was people who were that on some level I knew it wasn't going to last, and the psychological idea, if you will, was that if I can make this person love me and stick around, then that means I'm worth being loved. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, no. So with each failed relationship or each failed crush, it was just the proof. You're not worthy of being loved. You're kind of a worthless human being. Mm-hmm. That was the story that I was, emotionally telling myself, and yeah, it took me a while to turn that around and realize no, it turns out I'm just a person and I'm allowed to be loved.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah, and I think also part of being able to have healthy relationships and date in a way that it's not constantly devastating, although dating can just be painful even if you're super healthy, I think, but is arriving at the realization that my happiness cannot depend on someone else.
Yeah.
Like, you can enjoy spending time with someone, obviously, and being in love feels wonderful, but you have to be in control of yourself and your emotions and your mood, and all of that comes from inside, not from someone else. Or else you're just like a dependent blob.
Yeah. It's so... Yeah, and you know what? I don't think that's too harsh to say. These people are dependent blobs.
Blobs.
I realized, like, my relationship with my wife is this thing that I didn't know, I never imagined was possible, where we are two separate people and we support each other in this relationship. We like being around each other. We like spending time together. We help each other out when we need it. We tolerate each other when somebody's in a bad mood, you know. And that's what it is. It's not about my day is determined by how happy or unhappy she is with me every day. Her day is not determined by you know, if I'm in a good mood or not. You know, it's we're aware that we are separate individuals acting as a team. You know, and it's really, when you boil it down, that's the idea of it. Is that you're people that have come together. And say, you know, I want to be with you, and I want to be on your side, and I want you to be on my side, but we're still like our own people, and that's what makes it good. You know, that we're not both living for one person to make that one person feel okay, and it's not all about our relationship either. You know, it's like that allows us to live our lives and not feel that there's nobody on our side, if that makes sense, you know. But really, you got to be okay with yourself first, you know.
Right. Well, that's like the perspective you're talking about. Like, I wondered, how will I ever be able to date someone or be in a relationship with them and not be nervous and worried all the time? And because that's how I always was in the past, you know. Like
in the relationship, not just
dating.
Yeah.
I mean, all the relationships I had back then were just, you know, just long versions of what it was like when I was dating them, and it was just very up and down, and they weren't like these great healthy relationships or anything. That's probably obvious from what I'm saying. But
it bears repeating.
Yeah, no, but I mean, I just, like, the minute I liked someone, then it became about managing how they feel about me. And oh well, God, I would have not wanted to be with me for sure. Right. Just because, like, oh, I didn't hear from him. What does that mean? Like, analyzing everything. I was like that too. Yeah. Because that's crazy. Like, it doesn't give you any information. Well, I think the thing is, like, all of that analysis of, well, then he said this and then did this, and what does that mean? It's like, in your gut, you probably already know the answer to whatever it is your brain is trying to figure out, which is like, this relationship is probably not working. Yes, absolutely. And you're trying to pretend you don't know that. Yeah. It is weird the amount of stuff that we will ignore, you know, in order just to be in a relationship. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So for the email writer, though, I think that it makes sense that it would be hitting him this hard, because even though you guys, you know, you went out for 2.5 years, but you've been sleeping together now for what, the last 4 years? Yeah. Let's see. This went on for 4 years. Well, so that would mean like 6.5 years altogether, if I'm doing the math right. So basically, your body has been, and your emotions have been acting as if you've been in a relationship for this long. So essentially, it's like a 6.5 year relationship that's breaking up. Yeah. And it makes sense that you would suddenly feel like, oh, what the hell am I going to do? And just, even though you broke up with her, any rejection reminds you of all other rejections in life and sucks. Mm-hmm. But you will get over it. And the idea that you should have met the right person for you in college, I say that's not true, because I know plenty of people. I certainly didn't find the right person for me in college, and I don't think that a window closes at that point. So, if I had gotten married around the time I was in college, I cannot imagine how many times I would be divorced by now. Yeah, yeah, that's the thing. There are certain people, and I marvel at them, who meet their, you know, soulmate, so to speak, in high school or whatever, and then they're still with them. Blows my mind. Yeah, I'm not at all who I was then. Yeah. And you're welcome, world.
You know what? I also know people, a lot of people that have that story, they spend a period apart.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes people will tell you that, and sometimes people won't. Like,
Right.
sometimes people say, we were high school sweethearts, and now here we are today. And sometimes people say, oh, yeah, there was like a 5-year period where we could not stand each other and we avoided each other, or,
Yeah.
you know, just fell out of each other's lives, and we came back together at whatever period because they were different people, you know. And it is that there's, when you think about the idea of, I should have met that right person at this period, it's, your life is not the same as other people's lives. Your life is your own, and your you know, for lack of a better term, your journey is your own, and you get there when you get there. You know, I learned to drive a car 2 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was a terrifying thing, but I did it. You know, I finally got to a point where I was like, I'm ready to do this, and I'm always very tempted to beat myself up for not doing it sooner, because it was miserable
Yeah, how
living
did you
here.
get around?
It was
Had people
it
drive
was
you?
the worst. Well, sometimes friends would give me rides, but I took cabs a lot. You know, it just always felt
How
humiliating.
many times a day did you answer the question why you don't drive?
Oh, I would hide it.
Oh, really?
I would hide it from people.
Wow.
So it wouldn't come up as often as you would think. But when it did come up, it was so embarrassing. You know, it was like being a functional illiterate. And somebody's like, well, you don't know what that sign says.
Yeah.
You're just pretending like you
Why is
don't
the
know
book
where you
upside
are.
down?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But I, whenever I'm tempted to give myself a hard time about it, I always get to a place of saying, yeah, but you just couldn't do it before, you know? And it's the same thing with relationships. Like, I wish I'd had a healthier, I wish I could have had a healthy relationship years ago. You know, I wish I could be enjoying the life that I'm enjoying before. I wish, you know, career stuff, you know, I wish that I had not, you know, not gone on that audition because I was too afraid. You know, it's like, I didn't know any better at the time. You know, you get there when you get there, and you can't put a clock on it, because that just makes things worse. If you're constantly going to be saying, I screwed up and I should be somewhere else now, well, that's not helping anything.
Right.
You know.
Right.
But I'll tell you what, if you are going to start with that and say, I should be in this place by now, rephrase that and say, I wish that I were in a happier place right now, and then say, okay, well, how do I get to that? You know. But there's no point in saying I should be a different person right now than I am.
Right. Right. And also to the email writer. I know this is going to be a tough one to swallow, but in a way, she's giving you a gift, which is not keeping you in this thing, which is less than a relationship, but much more than a friendship, and which was preventing you from meeting other people and, you know, getting on with that whole thing. So I would try to see it that way a little bit. There was a reason you guys broke up. It obviously wasn't working as, you know, boyfriend, girlfriend. So, okay, well, so he's only slept with one person, though. He's 26. What would be your advice to him, Paul? Should he go out and...
Get excited about sleeping with a second person, because it's great.
So he should just start with, just do one at a time, as opposed to, like, I want to sleep with, like, hundreds of women.
Well, I mean, if you're able to swing sleeping with hundreds of women right now, I mean, you know, he's a young guy.
I actually would like to just go on record as saying I don't think that hundreds of women is healthy. That
No,
seems
that's
excessive.
That seems
and
excessive.
dangerous, actually. Yeah.
There should be a sniglet for that.
Right.
I think that I don't think you should. I don't think, you know, you should approach it as, I have to find that one person. You know, I think you have time, like date, you know, and meet people and see what they're like.
Right.
And if you don't like it, then don't go out with them again.
From where we're sitting, actually, 26 sounds young.
Because it is.
It is.
It is. Yeah.
That's right.
And as much as they have moved the chains on what young is considered these days, like, it seems to get like older and older, you're still allowed to call yourself young.
Yeah.
You know, 26 is young. You're at the beginning of everything, and it's great. Like, there's so much great stuff that's coming, and it's like, enjoy. You should enjoy it. You know, you should. And if you're not enjoying it, you know, figure out a way to enjoy it. Figure out what, you know, figure out a way to just enjoy life because life is enjoyable.
And if you're open to therapy and you think you might benefit from it, I recommend it.
Yeah.
And it sounds like Paul does too.
I do too.
Are you still in therapy?
Yeah, it's a great thing. It's a great thing. I don't necessarily go every single week, but I try to go as often as I can, and make it a regular thing because it still helps. It still helps. Sometimes you have, because life changes and things ebb and flow, and like both my parents have passed away, and I had a friend die recently, and it's like all the stuff is it helps to talk to somebody who's skilled at saying stuff to you that is going to be useful.
Yeah. And now, for people who aren't skilled at saying stuff.
Hey, go fuck yourself.
All right, here's a comment I received. I know you will delete this because you are thin-skinned and have daddy issues.
Wow, wasting no time.
I know. Because you know how people with daddy issues delete comments. However,
Classic daddy issue behavior.
I know. Your liberal BS is hilarious and not how like you intended it. Perhaps if you lived in more places than just LA and New York, you would realize there is a whole big world out there. My guess is you are too scared to explore it. Pathetic at your age. 37, right? That's right. And thank you for the tip. I will go explore the world and try to be more Republican. Also, please go fuck yourself.
Hey, go fuck yourself.
But I love the notion, and I believe this is a notion held by some people, that the coasts skew your perspective or skew your perception of the world.
Yeah.
Is that true?
I think when we're talking about ideals, which I think people like this always are, and values, for lack of a better
Yes.
term. I don't think that if you moved to a state in the middle of the country.
If I live in Georgia, I have a feeling I'm still going to believe exactly what I believe now.
I think so too.
Plus, I have traveled around this
Yeah.
great country of ours.
Yeah.
I'm down with American exceptionalism.
Yeah.
So go fuck yourself. I had to get that one. That one was more genuine.
Yeah.
And angrier too.
I love the idea though that you have to go someplace else in order to understand this perspective.
Right. Because I'm just steeped in, I don't know what. Like, I'm actually surrounded by people who don't share my views. So,
No, I'm confused. The liberal BS, it's liberal BS, but it doesn't come off the way you intended it to come off.
it's hilarious.
It's hilarious.
And not
Natch.
like how you intended it, meaning because I'm in the funny business, I assume
see.
everything I do is funny. I'm thinking that's what he means. I'm thinking he means it's hilarious and not in a comedian way.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
All right. I love if I post anything political, which I don't do often, but every once in a while, like marriage equality is a big issue for me. My brother is gay. I have a cousin who's gay. There's a lot of gay people in my life, and it doesn't make sense to me that that's not just a thing that we all accept as normal.
Right.
So every once in a while, I'll post something about that, and somebody will tell me on Twitter, to stick to the jokes. And what I would say that my credentials as someone who's qualified to talk about anything that's not a joke is that I am a United States citizen and a voter. So I am just as qualified as anybody else to talk about this stuff. But also, I'm assuming you're telling me that you've never tried to be funny on Twitter?
Right.
Because I would
Why
say,
don't you stick to the insults?
Yeah, exactly. Why don't you let the funny people handle it?
Right.
If I may say,
Please.
go fuck yourself to someone.
Oh.
This
please.
is not to one specific person. This is a blanket go fuck yourself to people who want to critique typos in tweets. Now look, once upon a time, I thought this was very funny to do, and I would do this to friends of mine. And then after a while, I realized it's a thing that happens to everyone. It happens to me often. Sometimes you're typing on your phone, and you're going to get a letter in there you didn't intend, or autocorrect will sneak one past you. You didn't realize it. Let's all get past it, because it's a thing that happens. And you know what I meant. So knock it off And while you're knocking it off, here's another activity I would suggest to you. Go fuck yourself.
Hey, go fuck yourself.
That's right. Now, do you do the thing, though, where you will erase your tweet or delete it and then
If I
redo
catch it at first, yes. If I catch it at first, and then that's the worst, is when people are like, I saw you made a mistake earlier. It's like, really? You saw I made a mistake earlier that I immediately fixed?
Right.
What is the point of that?
What is the point of that should also be a segment. And that is generally how I feel about so many replies that I get on
Yes.
Twitter. Although I love all of my followers, please
Yes.
just keep on keeping on. But the
KO.
handful. Yeah. But the handful, if you have giant hands, of responses where I'm just like, why?
Yeah. People that want to explain jokes or they want to give you the historical facts behind a dumb
Right.
joke that you made.
Or
It's
they
like,
just want to
no.
ask you something that's like, you could just Google that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other things that I find super annoying. But then again, like, I don't know. So much of what happens on Twitter I immensely enjoy. I just
Absolutely.
find the jerks
Absolutely.
to be super irritating.
Yes, it is. It is a difficult thing sometimes to take a step back and remember. Oh, that's right. The name of this dumb thing is Twitter. Like, how mad can I get about anything that
I
happens on here?
remember when I thought the name Twitter was the stupidest thing ever, and I
Oh,
particularly
absolutely.
thought tweet sounded stupid.
Oh, guess what? It was, and it does.
I know, but I'm not.
You're used to it.
Yeah.
You're used to it.
Exactly.
The worst thing is when I hear these things are named so stupidly, but then they become important. And the worst is when you hear like an elected official saying, well, we understand from some tweets that the situation in Iran is very dire. It's like, oh, you had to say tweets.
Yeah.
Well, the president, when he gave that speech about, when he was running for office and he had to give that speech about Jeremiah Wright, and it was like this great speech about race relations in the United States, and contains the term YouTube. Like
Yeah.
that's, I think anything he even says YouTubes, which is even worse.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe we should change the names. Lobby them to change the names.
Something more dignified.
Exactly. I think we have time for some Just Me Everyone's.
Sometimes I ponder on something I have thought or done. Is it just me or everyone?
All right. Chris K99 says, sometimes I wonder if someone has snuck in and hidden a body in the rooms, areas of the house I rarely go into.
What?
I don't worry. I mean, I do the thing.
Wait.
Okay.
So, okay. So, snuck in and hidden a body. The rooms of the house I rarely go to. So, like, let's say you have an attic.
Okay.
And you don't go in that attic that much.
Right.
So this guy's saying he comes home, he's like, I haven't been in the attic since we took the Christmas decorations down. Did somebody sneak in here and put a body in there?
That's what he's suggesting.
Okay.
He wonders, but he doesn't worry. He just wonders.
He's just wondering.
Yeah, just musing about it. I mean, I have the thing where I think, oh God, is there someone in the house if I hear something, or just general fears. But I never worry that someone snuck a body in.
Right.
Now I will. What about you guys?
Do you absorb things like that?
Not actually. This one, no, but sometimes I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I never worry that anyone snuck anything into my house. That doesn't make sense to me.
I've not had that concern either. I've never. Maybe one time I had that weird feeling of is somebody in here. Mm-hmm. You know.
Yeah, I get that sometimes. Or
Yeah.
I'll get home and like.
But a living person.
Notice something's amiss and grab something and go bounce through all 2 rooms of my apartment to make sure
Right.
there's no one there. But
What do you grab?
I have a golf club that I keep
Smart.
by the door,
Yeah.
Honorable.
which I feel is just going to do a lot of damage to my place if I ever have to use it. But whatever, it's going to do some damage to them too. So watch out, motherfucker.
That's right.
Do you like the golf club because it allows you some distance?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you can use it in multiple ways. You can swing it or you can poke it. You can,
It's true.
I just gesticulated.
What iron?
It's a wedge.
Sure.
56. You get a bigger piece of the head.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what the rappers use.
Oh, sure.
Do you have some kind of weapon that you grab
No,
when
but I
patrolling your house in the morning while your wife sleeps?
I think about it when I'm on patrol. That's a thing that I forget about, and then every once in a while I'm kind of reminded of it, and then I think, oh, we gotta have a thing. We gotta have a thing for under the bed for, especially because I travel a lot, and I think about my wife there, and she locks every door that can be locked, but I do feel like I wish she had like some sort of club or something.
Yeah. You know what I
Now
walk
I'm
around
thinking
with
about it.
in the middle of the night?
What's that?
My phone. If I'm going from one room to the next at night and it's dark, I have my phone and I hold it like a little light. I need some kind of combo phone baseball bat.
You could get a baseball bat and put a holster for it on your phone.
Yes.
That would be like, when you see
a giant phone.
When you see in cop movies and they have that flashlight on their gun,
Do they do?
Yeah, you never seen that?
I'm sure I have.
Sometimes there will be rifles that have a light on them.
Oh,
Sometimes
yeah, okay.
a cop will have like their little cop flashlight, like one of those mini ones. They'll have it, that and their gun at the same time.
Right. Yes. That's what I need.
You need one of those. Oh, also night vision goggles.
Yes. Yes.
Not with the light.
Not with the light. Oh my
Right.
God! Don't use them in conjunction with each other.
That could
I won't.
You'll
you could
blind
shoot
yourself. You could also shoot yourself.
This seems like a bad idea all around. Demon McLeod says, I pick up other people's dog poop when walking my dog so people won't think I'm rude. We recently had someone write in and say they pick up other people's trash on their way to the trash can. I don't have a dog, although I wish I had one. So I don't do that. And I don't think I would because in the same way that other people's poop is more disgusting than yours, other people's dog poop would be more disgusting than your dog's.
Oh, this is one of the primary reasons I don't have a dog at all. Is you're telling me I have to do this all the time,
Right.
multiple times a day? No. So, but I feel like I wonder if this is one of those things that happened to this person once, where they walked past
And
some
someone
dog
shamed
shit.
them.
Yeah, and somebody's like, "Hey, you don't pick up after your dog?"
Oh, right.
And then of course, like it sounds like such a lie to say, "No, it's not my. That's some
Yeah.
other dog's shit." Like, "Oh, sure it is."
Yeah. I have a Chihuahua. That's Great Dane crap. Gary, you don't have a dog
No,
either.
I don't have a dog.
Yeah, but now here's something I thought of. Why can't dogs be toilet trained? I mean, really.
Apparently, you can do that with your cat if
Right.
the Sky Mall catalog is to be believed.
Yeah.
I don't know if dogs, because dogs drink out of the toilet and they're like, oh, that would just be too weird for me, even though I'll eat other dogs' shit.
Yeah.
Look, I can't explain all the dog rules to you. You should just be excited. I'm a talking dog.
Rebecca Britton, is it just me or does everyone have to shake the milk container before opening it? Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
That feels like a muscle memory thing to me.
Yeah.
I don't drink milk anymore. I'm not a baby. But I feel like that was a thing. Like I sort of remember doing that.
Yeah.
Why is that done? Is that to see if it's turned into yogurt? See if it's
Side note, I was pouring some creamer into my coffee. I don't normally usually I use milk, not creamer, but I was pouring a little bit in and it kind of like glopped in there and I
Ugh.
thought, that's weird.
Ugh.
And then I did this thing which is stupid, which is where I poured a little in a spoon and then tasted it. And I thought, it tastes yogurty. And then I decided, you know what, though, I'm still going to drink the coffee. 2 sips in, I thought, what the hell am I doing? I'm worth
That's
more
just
than
you.
this.
This
Yeah.
is just you.
But it wasn't rotten milk because it was like some kind of soy creamer or something. So it like I would not be that cavalier with rotten milk, nor would I actually swallow rotten yogurty tasting milk.
You're not from the movie Alien Nation, where the aliens drank sour milk
You're right.
to get drunk.
I'm not.
You're no Mandy Patinkin.
No. Holla. Only a few people are going to get that, I think. But anyway,
Did you smell it before you tasted it?
I did, and I couldn't smell anything off about it. It was really, the whole time I thought, this is so stupid. This is really stupid. This is really stupid that I'm...
Why take the chance?
Yeah. Anyway, though,
Can you not drink black coffee?
I prefer not to. Is that how you drink it?
I drink black coffee.
Yeah. Do you like that?
I do.
Have you had to convince yourself you like that, or did it from the beginning?
No, from the beginning. From the beginning.
Yeah.
I like black coffee.
No.
I
I
like
like
the-
it very milky and sweet.
There you go. To each his own.
I know. I use artificial sweetener, though, not actual sugar. I think I like the taste of artificial sweetener better. So, Ned, you don't use like almond milk or soy milk or any of the faux milks? No.
No.
Just not, no. Now, are you no dairy or just not milk?
I'm not no dairy. I just don't drink milk.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Gary,
I know, even since I was a kid, I did not like it.
shake the milk?
Ugh.
No, I orange juice and stuff, but for some reason I don't shake milk. I don't know why.
I don't really think you need to.
I don't. Yeah,
No.
it doesn't feel like it needs to be mixed. It doesn't feel like anything's settling.
Right.
Whereas with
It's
orange juice,
its own
or-
thing.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Wait,
Not
why
with
do you
milk.
shake orange juice? Do you like pulp in orange juice?
I don't know. It's instinct. No, I don't like pulp and orange juice.
Oh,
I
it's the
buy
worst.
I buy no pulp orange juice,
That's
and I
right.
still shake it. I don't know why.
Yeah,
It's
we're
just-
not on a desert island. There's
just
no
my
reason
thing.
to have orange juice pulp in our
Yeah,
lives.
that's lame.
Yeah. Now, is the pulp? Some people, do they like it, or is the idea that it's healthier
Some people
in the
like
way
it.
that it's like you should eat the crust? Although
Some
that's
people
bullshit.
I will. This is a bit of a final frontier for me. Is citrus fruit, just eating citrus fruit, which I've never enjoyed, and I'm making myself now eat oranges, and it's disgusting because the texture
There's
is
all that
it's rough
white
stuff.
junk.
Ah!
What is that?
It's like the texture reminds me of like Ridley Scott's Alien. Like it's just gross. It's
Yeah.
got too many stringy things hanging off of it.
Yeah.
It's got weird things that aren't seeds, but they're like weird, just hard knobs or whatever.
Right,
like
something inedible.
Rind.
Yeah.
It's too much work.
Yeah, I'm surprised
Too
you're
much
sticking
work.
with. But now you peel a whole orange and
Here's
then eat
why.
the little segments and
Yeah, I
try to
will. I'll
pretend you're
chop it
having
in
a good time.
Chop it into segments and then tear it out of the peel.
Right.
And I do it. I do it like it's a chore. I do it over the sink, throwing the peels into the garbage can, into the garbage disposal as I go. I eat it as quickly as possible. And the reason I do it is because if I'm in a place where there's good food choices and bad food choices, that's so I will be able to make a good food choice and not eat. Like if I'm on a set or
By
something.
waterboarding yourself with
and I'm-
oranges.
Yeah, if I'm going to a waterboarding, let's say,
Yeah.
and they say you can have a bunch of mini Kit Kats or some oranges, I'll say, I will have the oranges, please, before you put that hood on my head.
But you don't like them.
No,
Like,
but
is it working
But it's a
to
better
make
thing.
yourself like them?
It is. It
Okay.
is. It's working. It's working to make myself be okay with eating them.
Where
Like
do-
I'll never be like, oh, oranges, let me at them. But I've been able to do it with other thing where it's like green. I don't like green beans, but I can eat them
Mm-hmm.
as a side. You know, if I'm at a restaurant or something like that, say this would be the best possible thing,
Right.
the healthiest possible thing for me to get that I would also enjoy. You know, is this thing with this thing.
See, I just don't know if anyone. It's a noble effort. I don't know if anyone is excited about oranges. Gary,
people
do you know
are.
of any, really?
I swear
Because
to-
Daniel and I were just talking about this. We were
Oh.
talking about.
Some people seem to love them.
We're talking about. Let's
Boggles
say
my
you're
mind.
hungry, and all
Yeah.
that's in your refrigerator is a pear or an apple or an orange. Mm-hmm. Which are you going to be most excited by?
For me, apple.
Yeah, I would go apple. He was trying to make the case for pear because he feels that pears have been grossly maligned on the Adam Carolla show. I agree to a degree, but the thing with pears is like the first couple of bites can be okay, but then I'm just like, I'm tired of this mealy thing. you
Exactly,
know?
and I don't like the shape. And then I was saying to a friend, because I recently had a pear for the first time, probably in my life. I think as a kid it was one of those things
Wow.
where I don't like pears and I'd never had it.
Yeah.
You know? But I've had pear things, and so and like slices and desserts and things like that. You know, somebody makes some fancy cobbler shit. I
Right.
don't know. So I ate like a whole pear, and I was saying to my friend, I don't like it as much as it's similar to an apple, but I don't like it as much as apple. Mm-hmm. And my friend said, well, it stays.
Mealy longer.
No, I think he was trying to say the opposite, or that it holds its consistency longer than apples
And
do,
I
or
have to
something.
disagree.
And I was like, but at what price glory? You know what I mean? It's not worth it.
Right.
Like an apple will turn brown as you're eating it,
Yeah.
but I don't care.
Right.
I will still eat that apple.
Do you do the thing with the apples? I bet you don't, where you hold the stem and then twist the apple, or vice versa, and go A, B, C, D, and then whatever you pull it out on is the first initial of the person that you will end up marrying?
No.
'Cause I feel like
I'm not allowed to do that anymore.
right.
Because if I get a letter,
That's not.
yeah, that's not my wife's
Yeah.
name. What am I supposed to do? I have to start a whole new life.
Yeah. You'd have to. It's good. You don't open
I
that
can't
Pandora's
do that now.
box.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Yeah. It's Pandora's can of worms.
It's funny that I still think about doing that, but the and that's not a referendum on my relationship. It's just that I like.
Now, do you not do it, but you think about doing it?
I haven't had an apple in a long time.
Since
really
you've been in a
about that.
relationship with Daniel?
Exactly.
His name starts with a D.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. No. I would still do it just to see in another universe.
You don't have the guts.
I feel like I would
I think
still
you're
do
chicken.
it. Here's the flaw in that You're never going to end up with like with a T or something later in the alphabet.
That's
For that reason, I would
exactly
never
right.
give my kid a T name.
You would have to, if you wanted to be fair about it, you'd have to do the alphabet at random. You'd have to do the alphabet on shuffle.
You would.
Yeah.
Which is hard to do.
Yeah.
You know?
It is hard to do. That should be the new drunk test.
I know.
They should give you an apple and say,
Yeah, do
go
it
with
at
the alphabet,
random.
mix it up.
That's right. Gary, any thoughts on fruit?
I would definitely rank them apple, orange, or apple, pear, orange. But the pear is, I agree with Paul, pear is not a good shape. It's not a good hand fruit.
Right. Right. All right.
It seems like it should be.
Yeah.
Because it's got the round bottom and everything, but when you're eating it, well, look, an apple can be tough sometimes.
But somehow it's easier because there's not all that. It's not like getting its juice all over you like a pear is.
No, it's tough to
Pear's
get it
just sloppy.
started. You got to get that apple started, and
Yeah.
it's like I worry about unhinging my mouth. Mm-hmm. I
Wait, do you mean your whole jaw popping off?
Yeah, I like those,
Wow.
like hurting myself in some way because I like those big green apples. Those are my favorite. Granny
Smith?
Granny Smith.
I think so.
Yeah.
Smurda 666. When I walk places, I play air guitar riffs in time to my pacing. I don't do that.
No,
Gary?
I do not.
No, definitely not.
Okay.
I think that is a classic. That is just you.
That is right, Lang Morgan. When I step in dog shit, it's like I caught my girlfriend cheating on me. No matter how much I loved, the shoes forever tainted.
Oh, I have a lot of stuff like that.
Really?
Yes, where I can't put it out of my mind. I can't. I wouldn't throw those shoes away. Mm-hmm. But
I think that's what-
something like that I would think about for a long time.
Yeah. Isn't that what he or she is suggesting?
I think
by
so.
he that he throws the shoes out?
I think so.
Yeah.
Shoes.
Yeah.
Well, shoes forever tainted, so maybe he doesn't throw them out, but can never wear them again.
Right.
So they just sit in the closet or whatever.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Gosh, I don't want to jinx it, but it's been a long time since I've stepped in dog shit.
Me too.
I would have
feel
that
like
too,
I've
though.
been
Or
pretty
even
careful.
if I step in gum, someone else's gum, and it's ugh, I'll have to get rid of whatever it is.
I have this thing at the gym. It drives me crazy. First of all, people spit their gum in the cup holders of machines at
Yes,
the gym.
that's so gross. Why are you doing
People
that?
spit gum. Men spit gum in urinals.
Ugh.
Like there's. In all of these places, there are trash cans. In all of these places. And I'm sure you're very busy. But make the time. See if somehow fit it in and spit it in a fucking trash can where it belongs. Like, we're trying to have a society here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when I see it at the gym and it's like, I can't put, like if I wanted to put my sunglasses in there,
No, you can't.
it's like I can't because even if the gum has been scraped out of there, it's like that goes on my face.
Yeah.
I can't put anything.
This touched your
can't do
mouth
it.
residue.
Can't do it.
Short girl. That is something like what her name is.
Short
Yeah.
2-0 girl.
I check the shower thoroughly for spiders before entering and shake out shoes, clothing before wearing. I don't always do that. However, we've had similar ones. That is a common thing. And I have the thing where I'm like, is that a water droplet going down my back or a spider? Because once it was a spider after the shower.
I have one pair of shoes that my wife once told me she saw a spider crawl into that one of those shoes. And so I shake those shoes out every time before I wear them, but not any other pair of shoes.
Just
Just
those?
that, yeah.
For fear that there's spider eggs there, or just spider
This
memory?
was a long time ago, but I
Yeah.
still feel like somehow that's the shoes that attracted the spider. I don't think about it otherwise.
Yeah.
I don't think about it before putting on any other pair of shoes. I think that's why. It's not that I feel like my other shoes are immune to that.
Right.
It's only that one pair of shoes.
How did
It's like,
she
oh,
tell
that's
you?
right. She said, "Hey, shake those shoes out before you put them on because I saw a spider crawl in there yesterday."
Yeah. There you go.
She even said, "I think I saw a spider crawl in there." I know there's a lot of spiders in Los Angeles.
There's a lot of spiders in my house.
Yeah.
And there are a couple daddy longlegs that hang out
Yeah.
near the front door.
Yep.
That's a weird spider name. Do you ever think about that?
Yeah, it's very childlike and childish.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's stuck.
Yeah.
It's like weird things like that to me are weird medieval things that we still have, like that were
Right.
carried over from England 500 years ago or whatever, Puritans 500 years ago. But yeah, well 1600s, yeah, and I feel like it's weird that we're still calling them that after all this time.
It is. Gary, did you have a spider comment or just say comment?
I dislike spiders too. for sure.
Okay.
And I definitely have the problem with them in my shower. And yeah.
Yeah. You know what I
bad
was
news.
thinking about? It's weird that when a dead spider or a dead bug is usually all scrunched up, as opposed to like all stretched out. And for anyone who's not watching, which is everyone, I am scrunching up and stretching out now.
Yes. Picture it in your minds.
I wonder why that is, because a human dead would not be all scrunched up. It would be stretched out.
That'd
Like
be
it's
all
weird.
over the place.
That's right. Just dangling.
Yeah.
With its long legs.
Is it something
you think
to
a
do-
daddy long? You think it'd just be sprawled?
Yeah. I wonder if it's something to do with their weird skeletal system. Because they have exoskeletons, I think.
They had
I don't
chitin
know.
or something. Yeah, they
Ugh,
have both.
Worse.
Right.
Yeah, maybe, but maybe it's also like a final admission of defeat. Like, look, while I was on this earth, I was a pretty gross, scary thing. But now I won't take up any of your room. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's dignity, you think?
Yeah, it's sort of like, you know what? It's like you, it's like you have bested me, and now I will just become this withered
Right.
little ball.
Yeah. I will take my leave.
Fearsome
I'm
in
sorry.
life, fearsome in life, timid in death.
Yeah, that must be it. I think you're right. Logan.
What else could it be?
Logan keeps 89. I think Dr. Phil is a cancer. He gives dumb housewives a false sense of knowledge about psychology and human behavior.
It's pretty strong.
Okay, I can go with
Pretty
that.
strong.
I don't watch Dr. Phil regularly. I find him annoying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if I would go as far as to say he's a cancer.
No.
But isn't his advice all kind of common sensey stuff? Isn't it like?
I don't know. Gary, do you watch Dr. Phil?
No, I don't. I've seen parts of his show before, but I absolutely know nothing about this shit except for what my sign is, and I love that. I don't know anything about what my sign, traditionally is.
Gary, I'm going to stop you right there.
Is that what?
I'm going
Is
to
that
stop
what
you
they
right
meant?
there. I don't think he's wondering about the astrological sign of Dr. Phil. I think he's saying Dr.
he's
Phil is like
cancer?
a cancer.
Yeah, I'm retarded.
No, that's very strong.
I'm very.
I like it better your way. That's what cancers do, though.
Well, I
Yeah.
don't see. Okay,
They
so
give
so
housewives
this goes,
dumb advice.
This goes to my point that I know absolutely nothing. So I just assumed that this was something that a cancer does,
Right,
and
right.
that most people would understand that. Okay, sorry,
That's okay.
that added nothing.
Wait, what is your sign?
Sagittarius.
Okay. And what are Sagittarius supposed to be?
There you go.
Base jumpers.
That's the end of my. That's the end of my knowledge right there.
Okay. All right. Baldy locks. Whenever I leave the house, I slap my ass and thigh to make sure I have my wallet and cell phone. I think that's a standard man move.
Yeah,
I do
absolutely.
that stuff. Yeah.
Sometimes,
I do both thighs and my.
Because
right
I
ass cheek.
usually wear a jacket. Like I am patting myself down like I'm arresting myself.
Same here. Absolutely.
Yeah.
well, here's something I'll admit that I've never mentioned before or even thought much of. Sometimes I slap my ass just because. It's just a weird thing
Is it
I've
to give
noticed.
yourself an attaboy?
It's just, I don't know. It's like it's just a fidgety mannerism thing that I don't do in public, but it's like, I'll just sometimes,
Like
I don't
around
know.
the house or something?
Yep. I'm going to
How
have to
long
pay
have-
attention.
Yeah.
to
Have
see,
you always done this?
I've been more aware of it in recent years. I'm going to have to see if it has to do with, like, maybe I'm bending over to get something and I stand up and slap myself. I don't
Wait,
know.
what?
I'm going to have to pay more attention to see what, if there's like certain times that I
Right.
will slap my ass, for example. If I'm bending over to get something and on my way up, I'll slap.
Now, is it a slap or is it a pat or is it?
It's gentle. Like some people will muss their hair. I'll just give myself a little slap on the. It's more like the hip, not really the ass.
like a gunslinger.
Yeah, it's tough.
Like leather Tuscadero.
Tuscadero.
And Pinky Tuscadero. No, leather Tuscadero is the one that did like
Yeah.
slapped her thighs and then did finger guns at you.
Yes, but who's Pinky Tuscadero?
That was her older sister.
Oh, right. Okay. Did she? I think she said something though when she did that, didn't she? Or was it just
probably. She probably did.
It's like one of those.
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't know why I do it.
Is it a sort of like, that's done?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. Like,
Yeah.
now what? Here we go. Now what are we?
It's getting less weird as we go on.
Thank you.
Has anyone ever caught you
It's really
doing
not
No.
that weird when you actually do it because it doesn't. the way you describe it, it sounds like you're smacking yourself in the middle of the ass when you're really patting your hip
Yeah. Yeah.
with incidental contact from the end of your fingers.
I think
Right.
it is a gesture of completion.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like moving on.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
I
done.
think I've done that before.
Okay. I feel
Oh,
better
now that I think about it, I do it all the time.
Yeah, it's not just you.
Okay, good. I only do it on one side, though. That's weird.
Same side every time.
Yeah, left. Oh,
you
no,
left-handed?
maybe I do it on the right. I'm really going to have to I'm going to have
Nanny cam.
to report back. That's right.
Paranormal activity.
Have Daniel take notes.
I will. All right. Ruslin S. When I'm almost home and a song I love comes on my iPod, I drive around the neighborhood for 4 more minutes to finish it.
I've done that.
I don't do that.
I have done that.
I mean, I
I've
can
done
see
that.
doing it, but I don't. But you,
Driveway? Will you sit in park for a little bit before you go in the house?
No, I mean, maybe. You know what? Honestly, I feel like I spend extra time in my car trying to, like, turn off my iPod.
Right.
Or it's actually on my phone, but trying
Yes.
to turn it off and make sure it's all turned off, because for some reason I cannot just put my phone in my purse and walk in with whatever it was that I was listening to still blaring.
I see.
I don't know why.
Right.
But I will. I'm trying to think if I'll let this. No, I'll usually just think I'll enjoy the end of this song later.
There you go.
Yeah. You guys?
I don't drive around, but I've definitely sat in my parking spot or driveway before.
Alrighty. Well, gosh. I think we are pretty much out of time. Thank you so much.
Flew by. Thank you
I know.
so much, Allison. It was my
But
pleasure to be here.
where can people find you, and what should they be abreast of? Because you host the Pod F Tomcast.
That is true.
And then you also do regularly other podcasts. Yes, the Thrilling Adventure
Yes.
Hour.
Yes.
And, yeah. So what are all your podcasts?
Here's all my podcasts. The Pod F Tompcast, which is mine, which is a crazy sort of theater of the mind kind of thing. It's sketches and these rambling stream of consciousness monologues. There's a Thrilling Adventure Hour, which is a staged fake radio show. And I am a regular in this segment of it called Beyond Belief, which is myself and Paget Brewster as this sort of drunk thin man type couple that are also they deal with the supernatural. And then there's another one that I do called the Dead Authors Podcast, which is a benefit show that we do at the UCB here in Los Angeles. And it's me as H.G. Wells, and I have transported authors from the past to the present to interview them. And it's to spread awareness of 826LA, which is a great mentoring and tutoring program.
Right. Nice. And is there a TV thing that people should be aware of or look out for? Or I thought I saw something on your website, but maybe it was.
No,
Old.
that did not get picked up by the network, but we'll
Those
see what happens.
jerks.
Yes, but I have many irons in the fire, so hopefully there'll be something else very
All
soon.
right. And we can follow you on Twitter at,
PF Tompkins,
and your website.
PaulFTompkins.com,
Excellent.
Tumblr, Facebook, all of that stuff.
Right. Yay. And you can follow me on Twitter at Alison Rosen. You can follow the show's Twitter feed at ARIYNBF. You can email the show, ARIYNBF at adamcarolla.com. You can follow Gary at GPatrickSmith. And you can go to my website, AlisonRosen.com. And if you're going to buy something on Amazon, which you are because they have everything, why not click the banner on my website, and that'll help out the show. And that would be delightful. And I love you guys. And have a good week. And I will talk to you next week. Bye.
Hey, do you know about the Alison Rosen show? We had a good time, but now we gotta go. Thank you for choosing the Alison Rosen show. Alison Rosen is your new best friend. That's right. That's right. Those good times don't seem to end. That's right. That's right. Alison Rosen is your new best friend. Hey, do you know about the Alison Rosen show? We had a good time, but now it's time to go. Hope to see you next time for the Alison Rosen Show. Yeah! Yeah, Alison Rosen is your new best friend.
This is Corolla Digital.